Welcome, 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 everyone, to Cooking in the Kitchen, hopefully your kitchen as well, with Dr. Michelle. I'm Dr. Michelle and Chef Sherimane. We can't see you, girl. Where are you hiding? Say hi.
I gotta do my camera the other way.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted people to have a peek at you. In any case, ladies and gents, I am super excited about the
Hey,
fact that
everybody.
you are here with us to meet this fantastic chef, Chef Sherimane, who has been doing miraculous dishes in the kitchen for how long, girl?
All my life, I think I was born cooking. But I've been a vegan for 10 years, but cooking all my life.
Cooking all her life. And she has been cooking some delicious, scrumptious stuff. She has been out shopping today, battling with everyone in the supermarket to get the most phenomenal, fresh foods to bring and present to you here tonight. Again, I thank you for joining us. I thank you for being courageous and bold in stepping out and prioritizing your health over everything else at this point in time. We want to make it worth your while. Subsequently, I'm going to pass it over to Sherimane. Now, what's going to happen is that I am actually going to go ahead and go into the background, and I'm just going to be narrator, talking about all the wonderful things that Sherimane is using and why these ingredients are so critical to your health and well-being, why we are choosing to prepare sweet potato chickpea curry, because I know all of us at this point in time want to find ways of improving not only our health and well-being, generally speaking, but more specifically to boost our immune system and to boost our pathways so that we are less likely to be the feeding ground for various forms of pathogens, whether they be bacteria or viruses, anything of that nature. We want to make sure that we are boosting ourselves to optimize ourselves, right? So we're going to go ahead and begin. I am going to, as I said, take myself off of video. Remember that you have the ability to speak. If you have something going on in your background, I ask that you mute yourself. But if you have a question or a comment about anything, please feel free to jump in and jump into the conversation. So we have turned it all over to you, Chef Sherimane.
Awesome. All right, everybody. I hope that if you did not buy the groceries, that's all good. The recipe will be sent to you. The reason why I chose sweet potato chickpea curry is because of all of the wonderful antioxidants and immunity boosting ingredients that are in this recipe. And right now we need to defend ourselves from the inside out. This is a 100% plant-based recipe. I'm a vegan, and I do the best that I can to introduce plant-based foods to folks so that they can help transition into a more plant-based diet. So first thing we're adding is grapeseed oil. Now I use grapeseed oil instead of olive oil or coconut oil because of the high heat tolerance. It doesn't smoke as much, but it's also really good for you. So look up grapeseed oil and you can see the healthy benefits. The next is onions. One regular size yellow onion.
And to interject here, Sherimane, onions are a beautiful source of vitamin C. Now you'll notice that in this recipe, she is putting the onions in first, and that is wonderful. You can also consider when you're using, say, salads and things of that nature, and if you're cooking, to put it in towards the end also, because then you are going to maintain as much vitamin C content as possible. Because vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, it tends to degrade its potency with the duration of heat, meaning that the longer you heat it, the less vitamin C content you will have. So just keep that in mind and vary the way in which you use onions throughout your day. So it's fine to saute it in this particular recipe. And also, when you're using it in other recipes, try and keep it as crisp as possible in order to maximize your vitamin C content. And for many of you, I'm sure you recognize that vitamin C is one of the most potent vitamins that are essential for your immune system. In fact, a lot of research is showing that in dealing with viruses, including the COVID-19, it is a high potency nutrient. And most people in America are vitamin C deficient because we as human beings do not produce our own vitamin C like other animals.
Thank you, Dr. Gamble. And also anyone who is not using not using oil in their cooking, you could saute with water or broth if you wanted to. The next ingredient is ginger. So tell them about ginger, Dr. Gamble.
Oh, ginger. Not only is it savory, but it is also used throughout a lot of Ayurvedic Indian cooking because it is warming. It helps to warm up the body. And in addition to that, it helps to boost the immune system. Now, when warming up the body, it's essential because it improves your circulation and it also acts as an anti-inflammatory. This is very, very key because every single chronic illness that you can think of has one common trait. They all have an element of inflammation, and inflammation is critical to the proliferation of any kind of disease state. So we want to be able to support the body in turning down some of the excessive inflammation as we cleanse and heal the body in other ways.
That is a great segue into the seasonings. One of the seasonings is blended seasonings. First of all, I like to add the seasonings to the pot while I'm cooking to bloom them. It enriches the flavor and it increases the aroma and the flavor of the herbs. One of the
Did you just say bloom?
Bloom, yes, ma'am. B-L-O-O-M.
What is that for us, for those of us that, like myself, that are completely ignorant? I thought you were talking about flowers just now.
No, when you bloom your seasonings means that you're heating them, allowing heat to touch your spices, which helps increase the flavor of your spices. You don't want to burn them, but it does, especially in this recipe, because we're going to be sauteing the seasonings with the sweet potatoes. So it's good to add the seasonings in the pot and blooming them to add the flavor. And one of the things that's in our seasoning mix, so we have cinnamon, if you're going by the recipe, we have cinnamon, ginger, which is already here, turmeric, black pepper, salt and pepper, and you're just toasting it just a little bit. Then you add your sweet potatoes and a little bit of water or broth.
Now, one of the things I love in this recipe is the use of spices, especially the cinnamon. And cinnamon is very, very remarkable, not only for its aroma, but it really helps with the metabolization of carbohydrates. And you'll see that we're using the sweet potato because not only are you going to be able to get the fiber content, but you are also going to be able to get vitamin A. That's why when you look at the sweet potato and you see that orange color, that is telling you that it has a high level of beta carotene. Vitamin A, beta carotene is another essential ingredient for boosting your immune system.
Absolutely. And you can see how adding your seasonings to your potatoes, we're getting ready to add the chickpeas, how it just coats the potatoes to make sure you have flavor. Some of the things that happens in plant-based cooking is the complaint that there's not enough flavor. And that's one of the things that I pride myself in my cooking. So this will help you as well. The next is chickpeas. So 1 can of drained chickpeas. Tell them about chickpeas, Dr. Gamble.
Now, chickpeas are wonderful, not only because they are a source of wonderful fiber, and they are a tremendous source of protein. One of the main challenges that I have found in working with a lot of vegetarians is that their version of vegetarians is that they become carboholics. And therefore, a lot of vegetarians have a tendency of developing imbalances in the metabolization of carbohydrates and sugars because they're not eating quality proteins. That's why it's essential to have quality proteins such as legumes that will give you not only the wonderful fiber, but also high plant-based proteins that are easier for your body to digest and therefore easier for your body to utilize in building muscles, in building neurotransmitters, in building amino acids, and things of that nature.
So one of the things that happens when you cook, especially when you're cooking and other people are watching, when you're home, nobody, it doesn't matter because you're doing it yourself, but people are watching like, oops. So one of the things that I forgot was the garlic that should have been added just before the sweet potato. You only cook garlic for 30 seconds so it doesn't burn. So what I'm going to do, if you can see, is I'm pushing the food over to the side so that I can give the garlic an opportunity to cook. It only takes 30 seconds, doesn't need to. And even the liquid that's here will help cook it so that you don't have raw garlic. It'll cook a little bit more when you put the top on it, but this is just another way to be able to add something to your recipe. If you feel like, oh, I missed it, you just move the stuff to the side, let it cook, and then incorporate it.
Oh, girl, I just love that cheat because I'm telling you, I cannot tell you how many times I'm in the middle of cooking. I'm like, crap, I forgot to add such and such. And then you try putting it on top, but it doesn't really hold the flavor as that neat little trick that you just showed us. Oh, I am so thrilled because oh my gosh. And the garlic is essential. It is powerful for boosting your immune system. It is a superb antibiotic. Superb antibiotic. Absolutely. And as Sherimane was saying, you don't want to overcook it.
The next that we're adding, now I like spice. This is Thai red curry paste. It's 2 teaspoons. If you don't like spice, you don't have to add it. And if you can't find a vegan Thai curry paste, and the reason why it's vegan is because it doesn't have any fish sauce in it. Sometimes Thai or Asian seasonings or liquid flavorings have fish sauce, and vegans don't eat fish generally, so we try to find ingredients that are 100% plant-based. So we added the spice with the Thai curry paste. It's got red peppers and vinegar, all kinds of great seasonings, and it smells so wonderful in here.
And it's beautiful that you're incorporating the hot spices because, again, it helps to really boost the circulation in the body. And then the other thing that I love about this recipe, Sherimane, is that you're tapping into all the different flavors. You know, you're tapping into the sweet, you're tapping into the savory, you're tapping into the salt, you're tapping into the hot. And with the turmeric, you're tapping into the bitter. And what's happening a lot in our society is that we're not balancing our palate. We tend to have excessive amounts of sweets and not balance it with the bitter. And the bitter herbs and the bitter spices are essential for stimulating the liver, which is critical for our detoxification pathways, and again, enhances our immune system.
Absolutely. So next we're adding the coconut milk, full fat, 1 can. Don't be scared of the fat. Some fat is good. Not all fat is fat.
So girl, that is the best fat ever. I am so thrilled that you are using coconut milk because it has what we call medium chain fatty acids. And these are the fats that burn clean in your body. So you know the same way we talk about gas and you have different grades of gas? Well, there are different types of fats. There's certain fats like trans fats, which you want to stay clear away from. But fats such as this, in terms of the coconut oil, they are optimal. They will allow you to not only get the energy that you need, because fat is a source of energy, but they also help, especially when we're talking about coconut oil, which has the medium chain fatty acids, and a part of that is what we call MCT oil, that helps to soothe the gut. And when you're talking about fats, you're also talking about feeding your brain. Do you realize that your brain is fat? So when people call you a fat head, say thank you. Okay? But you want the right fats that are going to feed your brain and burn cleanly, such as the coconut oil, as well as giving you that phenomenal flavor. Now, Sherimane, Before you go any further, as you go along, can you tell us a little bit more about your story of how you were able to transform your health and reverse a chronic illness?
Absolutely. And this is a good time to do this because what we're doing now in the recipe is bring to boil, reduce to simmer. So it'll take about 2-3 minutes or so for the mixture to boil. That, in addition, it's another way of blooming your seasonings and making sure that you get all of the herbs and spices and everything is activated properly. So this will boil, and as soon as it boils, I will put a cover on it and turn it down to simmer, and then it'll cook for about 10-15 minutes until the sweet potatoes are tender, and then we put in the spinach, turn off the heat, and it's done. So I'm gonna turn the camera to me so I could talk to you about my journey.
Yay.
I know you see the light behind me,
And
but
ladies and gents, what do you talk about?
this big thing.
Beauty in the kitchen. Look at this gorgeous young woman. That is proof positive that what she does works. People talk about anti-aging this and anti-aging that. Look at this queen. Absolutely gorgeous. Go ahead,
Make
girl.
me blush, Dr. Gamble. Okay, so I'm covering, if you guys are following along, I'm covering the curry. It's already boiled. I reduced it to about medium, like a 6 on my electric oven stove. It'll take about 10 minutes or so. I'll test the sweet potatoes. If they're tender, then I'll add the spinach and we're done. So I was diagnosed, I'm a former type 2 diabetic. My grandmother, my beloved Eva, was a insulin dependent diabetic. Back in the day when we didn't know the connection between food and medicine. When my grandmother finally passed, she had 16 medications. And when I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, I was going down the same path. Doctors, as soon as I walked in the door, they were like, oh, you're diabetic, so you need metformins, statins, and water pills. And I was like, well, you don't even know me yet, so how can you give me all of these medications? I found that the medicine was too strong. It was making me sick. Anybody who has any kind of experience with diabetes knows that one of the dilemmas is if your sugar is like 300, which happens when you're out of control, and you need to eat, you don't know if you should eat because you're going to go into a coma. It's going to be 500, but you know you have to eat in order to keep yourself balanced, but because of what you eat, it can negatively impact the insulin in your body. So I found that the removal of dairy and meat and preservatives from my diet helped me to control my sugars, my insulin levels. And when I would go to the doctor, after 2-3 months of experimenting on myself because I was unhappy with what the medicine was doing to my body, they would say, oh, great, you're taking the medicine. Let's continue to do that. And then when I would say, no, I'm not, I'm trying to find an alternative, they would say diabetes is a terminal illness. If you don't take this medicine, you're going to be dead or in dialysis within a couple of years. You know, what about your children? And trying to guilt me into medicine, which, as I said, didn't work for me. So I learned how to eat better, and I felt like each one teach one. I'm from New York originally. All the old heads back in the 60s, whenever someone knew something, you're supposed to bless your community with your knowledge. And I'd been in IT for 20 years, and I found it to be soul sapping. So I needed to find something that I could do where I could be a benefit to my community, use the knowledge that I have. And I'm under the opinion that food is like protest. Food is like revolutionary. The healthier we are, the smarter we are, the more our brains are less foggy, and we are able to fight. Our bodies are able to fight all of the stresses and pressures that we have as people, and we don't have to pay for the medications, and we don't have to be worried about leaving our children orphans. One of my whys is I'm a single parent. So if I had not changed my diet 14 years ago, I'd probably be on dialysis and my kids would probably be an orphan, because nobody that I know is thriving on diabetes unless they are intentional about changing their lives. And that's what I do for a living now. My goal is to try and help people transition to a plant-based diet, understand the bounty, wonderful benefits of herbs and spices that the Creator has given us. And if we just eat them, we will be healed, I believe. I have been healed. I've been medicine-free for almost a decade, and I've been, for the last 10 years, doing what I can to serve my community and providing them with alternatives that are delicious so that they don't have to feel like they're sacrificing by eating plant-based. So that's...
And I thank you so much for making that decision so many years ago to heal yourself. And that is the message that I take across the nation. You can heal yourself. Now we have a question here. Someone says that she has organic sweet potatoes that are white on the inside rather than orange. Is that a problem? I don't know from a chef's perspective if that's a problem. Can you give us some insight?
No, it's not. Actually, that's probably a Japanese potato, and Japanese potatoes are white on the inside. Purple sweet potatoes are purple, and yams can be orange. They could be a sweet potato or a yam. They can both have an orange flesh, but a potato that has a white flesh is generally called a Japanese yam. It's just as nutritious. It's got a milder flavor, not as sweet. It's really great in a pie. And you can definitely use any type of, only potato I would not say to use in the curry is the purple sweet potato, because it can get gummy once it sits in liquid for a little while. But the white potatoes are perfect. You're welcome.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that you will definitely get your fiber content. One of the things that I talk to people about is what we refer to as the law of signatures, meaning that you can look at a fruit or a vegetable and get intel from nature about what it's good for. So when you look at a carrot, when you look at a sweet potato, and it has that orange color, that is giving you an indication that it is high in beta carotene. So if you go to a different type of potato, you won't get the beta carotene content, but you will get the other nutrients. So just to keep that in mind. And then we had a little joke from someone here. She says that she refers to herself as being dangerous in the kitchen, and that everybody in the family jokes that dinner is done when the fire alarm goes off. So,
I've set off a few fire alarms myself, so I guess we could probably have that in common. So the curry is ready to the point where the potatoes are soft. So what you do is you turn off the heat. Spinach just needs to be kissed with heat. People cook their greens too much. So all you need to do is just add them to the hot liquid and just stir it in. Take it off the stove. Hope you can see. Okay. And it is done. After you stir all the spinach in, you can accompany this with rice. I don't use white rice. I use black rice or farro most of the time. Both of them are ancient greens. They are full of protein and a great substitute for white rice, because that's okay. So let's just have a quick conversation.
So one of the
white foods are not good. White rice, white noodles, white potatoes,
sugar.
But I must say, just please, and I know a lot of people don't like brown rice, so farro, quinoa, millet, bulgur, something else other than the big bag of white rice, because that's really just sugar, and it just really it has no nutritional value. So I just need to do that PSA. Just please don't use white rice. Okay.
And the other thing I want to bring emphasis on is the fact that, as you said, once you put those greens in, you can take it off of the flame so as to maintain the nutritional components. Remember, There are vital vitamins in your dark leafy greens. In addition to those vitamins, which are water soluble, and as I said, their potency decreases with the amount of heat. In addition to that, our dark leafy greens are high in magnesium. And many of us in America are deficient in this critical mineral. This mineral is critical because it helps to bring balance to the sympathetic versus parasympathetic branches of our nervous system. It is beneficial in terms of helping you to have the reserves to deal with stress. And I'm sure all of us on this call can agree that we have been going through, as a world, an extremely stressful period of time.
So here we are, is your bowl of sweet potato chickpea curry, full of cinnamon and turmeric, black pepper, ginger, spinach, chickpeas, garlic, oregano, red curry paste, everything that, this is a perfect bowl of antioxidant immunity boosting power. And I hope you guys add it to your repertoire and taste and see how delicious this is.
And another thing to add, you do not have to add any kind of grains. You can just have it just like that, because right there you have your essential vitamins and minerals. You have your macronutrients in terms of your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats. And for a lot of people who have issues with blood sugar regulation, I caution them with integrating too many carbs at any one meal. So even though you may say, well, Michelle, it's just corn or it's just rice or whatever, be very careful about how many carbs you are consuming at one meal, especially if you are having issues with blood sugar regulation. The other thing to say is, I know that Sherimane is a lovely person, and I want to impress upon everyone that we are not telling you to throw away your medications. That is a conversation that you have to have with your medical doctor.
Right.
And for you to discern from your own research and your own spiritual guidance. I think that one of the things that many people, as they shift into this type of lifestyle, we feel an inner guidance that is telling us to do certain things. And I want to honor that inner guidance that lies within you. You have an inner healer that always knows what is best for you. Always. So please listen to that inner healer. Listen to that inner healer, because that inner healer has more import than any person with any kind of alphabet soup behind, in front of, around, whatever their name is. Okay?
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Everyone's journey is different. My journey in regards to what happened with me and food and needing to do something different is an individual thing. As I said, the choices, and it took me a period of time to get here, but for me, the choices were, there was no choice because I can't leave my kids an orphan. But I also believe that there's a clear connection between food and health. And the fact that we have food deserts and don't have fruits and vegetables in our neighborhoods, and every corner is a chicken, a pizza, a liquor, a church, and it's really hard to find healthy food if you want. I think that's by design. I remember when I was growing up with my grandmother in Harlem, we would walk 20 New York City blocks from one end of the city, Adam Clayton Powell, all the way to Broadway. And if anybody knows New York, they know those are long uphill, just because she said, the white people have the best vegetables, babe. The white people have the best. That's what she would tell me. And that's what it was. Unfortunately, my neighborhood, the grocery store smelled like a dirty mop. And that's what we had to contend with every day, all the time. And that's ridiculous and not fair. And it also keeps us from even wanting to eat healthy because we can't find what we're looking for. And it makes us feel like we just can't get out of our situation. So I am a testimony to the fact that you can, but I also understand that it's a deep, heavy on our spirits with food and how it's connected to family. When you decide you don't want to eat you want to eat plant-based and you don't want to eat meat, that's a big thing when you're having Thanksgiving and you're trying to convince people that they should put down the burger or the Popeyes. It's hard,
Yeah.
but it's essential because we as a people globally are not going to be able to continue eating the way that we are. Factory farming is a thing and what it's doing to our planet. And if we can be more intentional about what we eat and why, we can heal our own individual households and then our communities and then reach out globally with that same message. So definitely your medicine is your own thing with your doctor. Definitely understand that. And if anybody wanted to know if it was possible to live an alternative lifestyle, I'm a testimony to that. So I can speak to that.
So absolutely, because what we are emphasizing here is that we can utilize foods in many ways. I tell people, you can utilize foods to just fill your gut kind of thing. And Lord knows where that's going to end you. You can utilize your food in a more conscious, deliberate manner. So we talk about eating to live. And then what I specialize in doing is helping people to utilize food therapeutically, where you're strategically selecting your food as your medicine. And that is a journey that I invite all of you to go on with us. I know that Sherimane is blessing you all with Sherimane?
Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you. So tell us what you're going to be sharing with our wonderful audience today.
So today I have a PDF. It's about 11 pages, and it is 11 home remedies for that build your immunity. So it's different types of foods and things that you can add to your regular diet that will help you build your defenses from the inside out. And one of the things is if you add it to your food and you eat it every day, cumulatively, you will be healed even if you're not trying. Just the idea of just adding these foods, these additives to your diet, your body will react to it positively. So if you go, Dr. Gamble will provide the links, and you can download the PDF that gives you 11 immunity boosting home remedies.
Awesome. Additionally, I am offering you all the opportunity to have a one-on-one consultation with me and to complete a metabolic assessment. During our session together, I will analyze your metabolic assessment to be able to give you insight into which aspects of your body are not functioning optimally. I deal with systems. So we're going to be talking about your cardiovascular system, your detoxification system, your hormonal system, your digestive system, based on your specific metabolic assessment that you are going to complete. All of these wonderful gifts, in addition to a recording of our phenomenal session with Chef Sherimane tonight, it is going to be in your email box tomorrow. So yes, run to your computer tomorrow morning, unlock your mail, and download that information. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stop the recording and we're going to open it up for questions and answers.